Hi, I'm Deco Turns 2011. Here are the second half highlights for the Fremantle vs West Coast Eagles game, round 18, 2011.
8-17-65, Fremantle 9-10-64. They nearly stole at the Fremantle Dockers, but it is West Coast winning by 1 point in Derby number 34. Peter Bell alongside Basil Zemplis. Belly, just a great game of football. It looked dead, didn't it, with West Coast up by 22 points, and suddenly out of nowhere, Freo came with a big run.
Yeah, extraordinary game. Great game to watch, and full credit to West Coast. You just thought they were coasting to victory in the last quarter, and then Fremantle weren't done with them. They were really gallant, and it has to be said, they had their opportunities, and Hayden Ballantyne gave it his best shot and missed by the narrowest of margins, and the goal umpire's in the best position to assess that, and he assessed that it was touched and then into the post, so West Coast win.
We can tell you he certainly made the right decision. We'll get another look at it in just a moment. Let's have a look at some of the highlights, though, of what was a thrilling contest between
Here they are.
Very evenly matched teams, 5th versus 6th. I guess the big talking point was when Griffin went off, how was Clark going to be able to stand up? And to his credit, the young man, in the final term, when the game was there to be won for Fremantle, he really did show some positive signs.
Absolutely. Obviously, with Griffin going off, it's Zach Clark into the ruck, and look, he gave away a few free kicks in rucking duels, but his work around the ground, off the deck, was really good, and some of his chasing was just outstanding, and there's a bit to work with there with Zach Clark, and he can hold his head up high.
A moment ago, Belly, we saw the courage of Beau Waters, the vice-captain. I know they love him at West Coast. We saw why. Very close, you would think, to the medal today, the Ross Glendinning medal.
Well, I wouldn't like to be voting for it today, Baz, because any one of a number of players could win it, and with a game like this that goes down to the wire, right down to the very last kick of the match, who knows who's going to win, but Beau Waters, certainly a courageous effort standing in front of Chris Mayne, who was on the lead, and it was amazing, he just bounced straight back up.
Shannon Hearn decided not to go then towards Mayne. That made it very close, and then this, a 50-metre penalty, and Nat Fyfe doing what he had to do. He slotted the goal. And as we know, that set it up for a very exciting conclusion. At this point, there was just 3 points in it. All clear. And then Hayden Ballantyne to win the game after the siren. At that point, it looked on track.
It did, but just fell short. Hayden thought he's got it over the line, and a few of the players didn't. Talk about agony. Or ecstasy to agony, depending on which way you're looking at it. It was an amazing end to an amazing game.
Always difficult after a game like this, Belly. Stats very even, both teams very even. You get the feeling West Coast were probably the better team for the majority of the match and deserved to win?
Yeah, certainly. They had a lot more scoring shots, but full credit to Fremantle. They just kept coming at West Coast, kept coming, never gave up. And I'll tell you what, these are two teams that are in pretty good form. And we saw that by the fact that it was an arm wrestle all day. Neither team would give an inch, and hence a very narrow margin at the end.
We saw after the game John Worsfold delighted. This really does set them up now, doesn't it? They've got a genuine assault on the top 4 ahead of them with a pretty good run home. They can play a part in the finals, and a big part.
Absolutely. They're one of the form teams in the league, and they don't win as many games, West Coast, without being one of those form teams, obviously, and they've got a wonderful platform to get to the finals, make an impact, and who knows, perhaps top 4, and from there, anything's possible.
And just briefly, Fremantle, by contrast, they gave it everything. You sensed that they knew they needed to win this one to have a genuine chance of finishing in the finals with their tough run home. Still alive, but it does make it difficult.
It does, but I'd never write off this team, and they never write themselves off, and they kept coming at West Coast, so they'll be really disappointed. A loss like that is just heartbreaking, but they'll regroup. They still have their destiny in their own hands, and if they win games of footy, who knows what's possible, and just they'll take a lot of credit out of the strength of character they demonstrated.
No doubt about that. A 1-point game for just the second time in Western Derby history. Last one back in round 21 2000, it was Fremantle by 1 point. Today, West Coast by a point. Back to wrap up after this.
Okay guys, see you next time. Please subscribe for more videos.